This is the story all about how I quit my job in South Korea. Again, the year was 2016 and I had had enough. Actually, I got hired in Saudi Arabia. The amount of money that I was earning was 2, maybe 3 times what I was earning in South Korea, which I didn't actually know. See, I knew that I was hired in Saudi Arabia. I had been filling out all of the applications or filling out all the documents. It was a long process, and I guess somehow I just overlooked my salary. I thought I was earning one amount. I signed all the documents and I said, well, I guess I'm leaving South Korea. And when I got to Saudi Arabia, I discovered, after talking to Big Mike, my colleague, he broke things down for me. He said, hey, welcome to Saudi Arabia. You know, let me tell you what's going on. During the conversation with Big Mike, I learned that I was earning considerably more than what I thought. And I had traveled thousands of miles from South Korea to Saudi Arabia, and I didn't know what I was gonna earn. Yeah, shame on me, but you know, it was a wonderful surprise that day when I talked to Big Mike, because he said, if you think you're earning this, well, and you're actually earning this, then just give me the difference and you just keep, you know, we'll keep you thinking, we'll keep you, you know, we'll keep you in the clouds, or you keep your head in the clouds. Like, oh, this is great, you know, and they'll siphon off, you know, money or whatever. Let's see. Money was the biggest reason why I left South Korea for Saudi Arabia. It's obvious, okay? Saudi Arabia is where the money is, basically. Busta Rhymes, you know, made that song Arab Money. Hey, we getting that Arab money. That doesn't even sound remotely like the song, but if you've heard the song, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's a lot of money in the oil-rich nations, and Saudi Arabia is, you know, that nation. And so that's where I went. I went to Saudi Arabia. Now, when I left South Korea, here's how I did it. I had a meeting at the university where I worked with our director and with the dean of the college, of the university, actually. And I had, you see, I worked for this university for 2 years, and during that meeting, we were basically, you know, hashing out the details of, you know, my employment contract and the coming school year. And during that meeting, they basically wanted me to say, yes, I'll be around for the next school year. I'm committed to, you know, renewing my contract with you all. Yes, I'm on board for the coming semester. But during that meeting, I said, hey, Saudi Arabia looks like a very attractive place to work financially. All right, socially, culturally, you know, that's a different story. But financially, yes. And at that time, you know, it seemed like the best idea. And so that's what I told them during the meeting. I said, hey, Saudi Arabia is on the table. I think I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia. But they said, no. You're with us. We've got you. You want to stay with us, right? And basically, that's what they wanted to hear during the meeting. But I told them, I said, well, you guys, Saudi Arabia is out there. And I think when I had that meeting, I hadn't confirmed it. I hadn't made the decision, you know, for myself, whether I was leaving or not. That's why I couldn't tell them, hey, I'm not returning. So basically, when that meeting ended, they thought I would be returning. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that I didn't tell them, or I wasn't certain, or that I misled them. No, they really tried to pressure me into staying in South Korea. That's what I want you to understand. But they weren't listening to me. And I was telling them, hey guys, Saudi Arabia, I think I'm going. Well, when the new school year rolled around, I wasn't there. Shame on me, of course. I recall being called an asshat by one of my former colleagues. But, my time at that institution was, it was up. And I was very glad to leave. And so the school year began. They were short staffed, at least, one teacher, and they had to scramble to reorganize schedules, which I'm sure was difficult on their part, on their end. But hey, I wanted out of there. I left South Korea, and that's how I quit. And when I look back and I think about the institution I worked for, and I think about, the circumstances that, I found myself, dealing with, I think it was a very good decision. And I'll tell you why. Well, for one, money. In my case, I didn't have the money, and I was limited to only one choice, basically, which was for that university in South Korea, it was living in a college dorm room. I made do with that, and living in the college dorm room was not the worst experience. It was fine. I saw the dorm room during the day. I walked in and I thought, oh, well, this place, needs some sprucing up and whatnot, but hey, it's fine, okay? I'll manage. Later that evening, I returned to my dorm room, my new home, opened the door, turned the lights on, and I discovered that there was a roach problem. So many roaches in the bathroom, refrigerator, on the walls, on the floor, at least 7 roaches. I grabbed my bags. I hadn't unpacked my bags. I just put them in my dorm room, and then I had gone out for the day to finish up, tie up loose ends and whatnot. And when I returned, that's when I discovered, all of my fellow roommates. So I grabbed my bags, I got out of there, and I went down the street to a hotel or a hostel, and I stayed there the night. And the next day I contacted the director or the head of our department, and I told her, hey, I need another room. That room is disgusting. She meets me at the dorm, and what I found interesting was they initially told me, yes, you can stay in that dorm, that's a good dorm, you can stay there. And once I discovered the roach problem, then they said, oh, well, I guess you could stay at this other dorm, which was at the other end of the hall. Well, I checked the other dorm room at the other end of the hall. It was spotless. It was so clean. Everything in that dorm was new. Everything was immaculate. And I thought, wait a minute, did they just steer me to this disgusting room? Because the director basically acquiesced, and she said, okay, here are the keys. Yes, you can have this room. She certainly didn't steer me to that room, which leads me to believe that she was holding out and trying to give that room to someone else. But due to the timing of the matter, because I brought the issue to the table immediately, she had to figure out something, and she reluctantly acquiesced and said, okay, here. She capitulated and said, yes, okay, Larry, you can get that room. And I was like, that was a red flag right there. Like, yo, you showed me this room, but you had that one all along? Oh, man. So that issue was resolved. I got the nice room. I kept it clean, and I was very happy with my it was very small. Of course, it was a dorm room, but I was very happy with it because it was clean, the AC worked, and I had no issues whatsoever with that room. But the situation, the circumstances working for that university sucked, because during vacations, which is one of the reasons why, it's better to work for a university or a public school in South Korea, is because of vacations, because you get basically 4 months? Yeah, 4 months out of the year. That's wonderful. So the problem with this was, during your vacations, the administration or the dorm staff, the dormitory management staff, would not bill you. Those bills would accumulate over the time that you were vacationing. So for 2 months, you would leave and enjoy yourself, and you would return to work to face a bill, 2 months in arrears, essentially. And it's like, why would you do that? Can't you notify me? Can't you update me? Send me an email. I can transfer the money. There were all of these solutions that I thought of to really negotiate this situation. But this is what this was their, procedure. This is how they manage their money. They said, hey, when you come back, we'll have, 2 months of bills waiting for you. And that was so uncool. No one liked that, because essentially you're late when you come home after your vacation. Who wants that? Who wants to face that after you've spent a lot of money on your vacation? So the only way to negotiate that situation would have been to just stay in the dorm room, stay in Korea over that time. Of course, you'd save money, but also, even if you stayed in the dorm, they were not going to bill you. There was a trend also occurring whereby classes or the student enrollment was declining, and the number of hours taught among the faculty really differed from the time the semester began until 2 weeks into the semester. Within those 2 weeks, you could have your class or classes canceled due to low enrollment. Of course, this happens in every university, but specifically at our university, the rule was, so in the first semester, if your hours fell below the contract hours, you would continue to receive the same salary. Okay? You were a salaried employee and your salary didn't change. But the following semester, they would double your hours, for instance, and you would still receive the same paycheck. But because the previous semester's hours fell below contract hours, you were basically working double time in the next semester to make up for the previous semester. So you were basically working for free. I thought, well, this is not good. These were red flags, and I said, I've got to get out of here. Yeah, so that's my story. That's my story about quitting my job in South Korea, or for a second time. Quitting my